Hello, fellow directors, fellow business owners, fellow managers, fellow executive, fellow staff. For today, my name is Martha. I am your business coach, your business advisor, and of course, an assistant in ensuring that you acclimatize to this new position or this position that you've already occupied. For today, I'd like to concentrate more on the newly appointed director. There's few things that I would like to share with you and discuss perhaps and see where this thing takes us. I'm having my ginger tea here. Cheers to you. I'll put it aside so that I don't get distracted. You are appointed in this position as a new director. Ordinarily and typically, what will your first day look like? Hoping that this new appointment is with credible team of people and an organization which will see you growing in this position. Ideally, I like to focus mostly on the, let's say, sole director or a startup director. And secondly, the ordinary appointed director to a huge corporate. There is fundamentally differences in how each of the appointee starts their first day. Let's look at the diary today of the corporate director who has been appointed. How does the day look like? A disclaimer is that I am not an expert. However, I'm here to share the little knowledge that I have through either seeing other fellow professionals in the business space, professional space, corporate space, and my personal experiences as well. So I would say, given what I'm doing, which is the coaching and business advisory services, and my experience from where I have worked, I understand what Companies Act is all about because of my legal background. I am not a lawyer, but I am a legal consultant. I've graduated with a legal qualification. It's a topic of another day. Let's get into it. So now, firstly, obviously there are official hours in a corporate director position, and ideally the starting time, it's usually the reporting time, it's 8 a.m. in the morning. However, as a newly appointed director, it's important that you don't just rock in the office as a newly appointed. And obviously you would have done a bit of your research priorly, weeks before, days before. But on this particular day, as your first day, you would still want to firstly consider going back to, if the organization has a website, you will go onto that website, just familiarize yourself with the online structure of the company that you will be joining or that you are already becoming part of on your first day. And secondly, you would have ideally gone through the so-called the annual reports to understand the important regulatory decisions, but also understanding the size and what the company is all about in the last financial year. You would understand what is the thinking of the board of directors, of the shareholders, overall the whole company as is. And then the other thing will be obviously looking into any other relevant documents that are available online for you to grab and familiarize yourself with. And then after having done that, you'll obviously, given the nature of the environment or the company represents, you will obviously have put your thought into your outfit, usually to appear professional, to be presentable, to leave that impression of, meeting a person for the first day, but also you'll be reporting to your bosses, you'll be reporting to colleagues, you'll be reporting to also maybe stakeholders of that particular company, and also to the rest of the staff. So it's very important that you are presentable yourself and you are confident with how you look on that day. Then that will be ideally before you clock in. Then you'll proceed and go to work. When you get there, obviously you want to be early, and then once you're there, let's assume it's 8 o'clock, your official reporting time. You meet at the reception. The receptionist will obviously get hold of where and who you're supposed to go to receive you, and also an office or location where your first sitting will be. Then you proceed. Usually in companies it will be that they at least set aside a time period whereby you, between 9 and 10, you will be taken on. Obviously you'll be introduced to the high up in the hierarchy, usually is the chairman of the board and the CEO or the executive director of that particular company. Once you are introduced there will be a few, you'll be introducing yourself again. Then you'll be taken over to do an office tour, and then I can imagine that you will be excited at that time. You'll go over, they'll take you to every possible but quite very relevant office walks, then for you to get the overall. Obviously along the way you'll be seeing some of the colleagues, and everybody will be seeing that there is a new kid on the block. So yeah, good luck with that. Then after that it will probably take about maybe an hour, and then from there, getting into the nitty-gritties, I'm sure you will be taken through a sit-up whereby the CEO and obviously other important executives like the CFO and the rest of the executives, they will each be giving you an overview of what their department is all about. That in itself, it will help you to get exactly what this business is all about, but also as to, in terms of their plans, what are they working on and where are they, and then that will almost take you through to a couple of hours. By the time you look at the time, probably it will be around about, maybe it will be between 9 o'clock and 12 o'clock, and then it's sort of like an induction session. That is very crucial, because from this induction session, it will say to you that I am really in this organization, and now I've got at least ideas of who, where, what of the organization at a very high strategic level. So that time you would have at least began to, either the nerves will be on you, but also you'll be far better than when you came in the morning, and some of the information you would have at least gotten a glimpse of. But here you would have heard it from the head of such departments, and but also at a strategic level. And then the other step will be around 12 o'clock. Usually they'll maybe say, let's break for lunch, and then that's when you get to be invited to join the CEO and the chairperson and some few directors which are there, or any person that has been authorized to do that on their behalf. But very important is when the CEO is there and when the chairman is there, and then joined by other fellow directors. And then you will be having lunch, you will be conversating, you will be, even there from your part as well as the new director, you'll get an opportunity to ask a few questions. But also more on an less informal than it was as you were going through your induction session. And then you'll get to have that. And then, of course, you still have to continue. The day hasn't ended. It's just the lunch time, which perhaps maybe it might take 1 hour, 30 minutes, or at most maybe 2 hours. That will be quite long. And then there will be a meeting with now the people that are handling mostly at a strategic level, by the way, the administration, the support service, mostly to the chairman, to the board of directors, and to the executive. And obviously one of the key people there, we will be looking at the company secretary. Remember, the company secretary as well. It's a very important person, in a sense that it is an appointment which is been imposed through regulation. How? Through the Companies Act. Very, very important, because this is the person that handles, I can say, any issue that relates to the board. They are usually called the board secretary. Strictly, formally focuses on the administrative function that caters for the rest of the board of directors, members, committees, and at a strategic level. So you get to have a sit down with the company, with the board secretary, who will take you through all the documentations that are important, like who will take you through what the board meeting schedule is like, the documents which you will need, that needs to be processed. Will take you through the communication protocol of what each director is expected, because remember, from as soon as you start your official office duties, sometimes there won't be an opportunity whereby every other time you see every other director, you will begin to act in your position, which will take you all over the organization. And it's important that you understand all of these processes, so that you are able to also position yourself knowing and understanding, also to be in cohesion with the rest of the other directors or the board of directors as is, and committees. And then once the board secretary has taken through all of the documentation and what is required, the protocols, the admin part of things, then you should be settling in. Then also of key importance, obviously, it's the IT department, that they will come and take you through their systems, what they're using internally, and their communication, obviously, when you have to transmit things electronically. And there could be as well, which is a must, somebody from the HR department who will take you through your contract, also your agreements that you commit with the company, to understand your roles and your responsibilities also, but also to understand the policies and procedures of an organization. Very, very, very important. You would have, of course, through the induction, also been taken through the roles and responsibilities of what a director is expected to do. Very, very, very important. So if this is long, I will take it through onto part 2, but I'll continue in the meantime. Yeah. So basically, this is what a day would look like of a director. So I'm sure and I hope that you have had those that are exciting days of as a first director. Some have had an opportunity to occupy different to occupy director position in different companies. And in that case, what does the law say? The law, is there a limitation to one holding personally multiple directorships in different companies? Yeah, well, we have, because a director's position, you must understand that it goes beyond the company's, the company's job description. It is also regulated by the Companies Act. It is legislatively imposed. So therefore, from time to time, the internal organizational documents and relationship should also speak to what the Companies Act is saying. In South Africa, we have the so-called Companies Act 71 of 2008, which is almost the latest legislation. Of course, there are amendments to it that are existing, but that one is the one that is standing currently as the form of the one which has authority, and every other must complement that. So when it comes to holding different directorships, you can imagine what will it be like if you were appointed a director in different companies. Remember, it's important to understand that every director is expected to perform, to push through, applying due diligence in everything, and protecting the interests of the company in every possible way. You will be held accountable for that. So whatever the number of positions you are holding, let's hear what the law says. Well, there is a provision within the Companies Act which speaks of, I think it's section 69. It talks of number of directorships that a director can hold, and the section says that there is no limitation at all. There is no limitation. However, the duty is upon the director to make sure that they carry and understand their role and responsibilities of what is expected of them. Secondly, it stipulates further, going into the act, to say it's a director's duty to make sure that them occupying other positions as a director, it mustn't conflict with their roles and responsibility in another company. So it is very, very important. And also, as a director, you will be expected to disclose your financial position and earnings from all the other directorships or companies with which you are involved. So it's very important to think of that. Hopefully, your first day as a director in a big corporate is as fruitful as highlighting the points which we have just discussed today. I'll see you in our next engagement. Bye.